You know, every horror story has to start somewhere. And this one, it starts with a boy named Aryan. He was, well, a classic troublemaker, and his family had pretty much had it. So what was their last-ditch effort? Shipping him off to a boarding school in a totally new city. The hope was, a change of scenery, away from all his usual distractions, would finally get him to focus. But they had no idea what was actually waiting for him there. So, picture this. Aryan and a couple of other new guys, they all show up late for admissions. And of course, all the good rooms are already gone. The only ones left are way up on the top floor. Kind of isolated, a little forgotten. They don't really have a choice, so they head upstairs to see what they're stuck with. They take a look around. Room 56 seems fine. I mean, nothing special, but hey, it's a place to sleep. It feels like a simple, easy choice. So they head back down to the warden's office, feeling like they've got their new home sorted. But when they tell the warden they want room 56, his response is just instant and cold. A flat no. That's it. No explanation, no reason, just you can't have that one. The boys are kind of confused, but whatever. They don't push it. They just need a room. So they just shrug it off and pick the room right next door, room 55. And when they peek inside, they actually realize it's way better. The view from the window is much nicer. They think it's a stroke of luck, like fate was on their side. Oh, what a terrible, terrible mistake that was. Because this is when things get really weird. The second they say room 55, all the color just vanishes from the warden's face. You can see pure panic in his eyes. He starts scrambling for the paperwork, practically shoving the keys into their hands like he just needs them out of his office right now. The boys definitely notice how terrified he is, but they're excited for the school year, so they just ignore. So yeah, despite the warden's totally bizarre reaction, the boys move in. And for a little while, everything's great. The first 4 days are just a blur of fun, making new friends, exploring the campus. Room 55 feels like home. But on the fifth night, that feeling completely shatters. On the fifth night, Aryan is fast asleep when he feels a very distinct tap on his shoulder. He opens his eyes, but no one's there. He tells himself, okay, just a dream. The next night, night 6, the fear really starts to creep in. He jolts awake, feeling this heavy presence in the room, and he sees it, a dark, human-shaped shadow just sitting at the foot of his bed. He blinks, his heart is hammering in his chest, and then it's gone. He tries to rationalize it away. He's just tired, right? But on the morning of the 7th day, there is no more denying it. Aryan's watching his friend Chaitan get ready, and he just freezes. There's a deep, angry scratch down Chaitan's face. It looks like it was made by a claw. Chaitan is terrified. He has no clue where it came from. And that's when Aryan's story just comes spilling out, the tapping, the shadow. And this chilling realization just washes over all of them. This isn't a dream. They are not alone in room 55. That night, they make a pact. Nobody sleeps. They're going to find out what is in that room with them. So that night, you could cut the tension in room 55 with a knife. The 4 boys, they push all their beds together, creating this little island in a sea of darkness. They're huddled together, eyes wide open, and every single creak from the old building makes them jump. Sleep is absolutely not an option. They are determined to face whatever is coming. The hours just crawl by in the suffocating silence. 1 o'clock comes and goes, then 2. And this little bit of false hope starts to creep in. Maybe they were wrong. Maybe it was all in their heads. And then the clock hits 2:32 a.m. and the nightmare begins. All of a sudden, the silence is just shattered by these sickening sounds of a struggle coming from their balcony. They look over, and through the thin curtain, they can see this horrifying dance of shadows. It's a fight, a brutal, completely one-sided beatdown. The silhouette of one figure is just savagely attacking 3 others. And the 3, they can't seem to fight back at all. They are literally paralyzed with fear. They can't move, they can't scream. All they can do is clutch onto each other and watch this spectral violence unfold just a few feet away from them. And it goes on for over an hour. Can you imagine? An hour, and not a single one of them dares to pull back that curtain. The second the sun is up, they are out of there. They burst into the warden's office, and the whole story just tumbles out of them. The shadows, the fight, the scratch on Chaitan's face. But the warden, he doesn't listen. His face just twists up in fury, and he accuses them of making it all up. He threatens to expel every single one of them if they ever say another word about this nonsense. So now they are completely shaken. They haven't slept, and they're literally feeling sick from the fear. They feel totally alone. They've got nowhere else to go, so they head to a nearby hospital, just desperate for anyone to help them. While they're at the hospital, they run into a senior from their hostel. He sees the state they're in, and when they tell him they're in room 55, his whole expression just darkens. He looks at them really closely, with this knowing look in his eyes, and he asks a simple question that changes absolutely everything. He says, "Forget feeling sick. How did all of you get those bruises?" Bruises? They look at each other, totally confused. They hadn't noticed any bruises. They rush over to a mirror on the hospital wall, and what they see looking back at them, it makes their blood run cold. It's them, but they're battered. All 4 of them are covered in these deep, ugly bruises. Their eyes are swollen, turning black. There are fresh cuts and scratches all over their skin. They look like they've just been in a horrible, brutal fight. And that's when it hits them. The victims of that phantom fight on the balcony, it was them. Seeing the absolute horror on their faces, the senior just nods grimly. He pulls them aside and confirms their worst nightmare. He tells them, "I know what's happening to you. It's happened before." And then he tells them the dark, bloody secret of room 55. Years ago, he says, that exact room belonged to 2 boys who came from a poor village. They were bullied relentlessly, subjected to these awful beatings by other students. They begged the warden for help, but he just looked the other way, ignored their cries, and feeling completely alone and hopeless, the 2 boys took their own lives, right there, inside room 55. The senior tells them that ever since that day, their spirits have been trapped in that room, and any student who stays there suffers. People have woken up with broken bones, deep bruises, even fractures, injuries that just appeared overnight. The spirits are inflicting the same exact torment that they went through. It's a cycle of pain, and it's all being enabled by the same man who was supposed to protect them. Now that they have this horrifying truth, Aryan and his friends know one thing for certain. They are not going back. There is no way they're spending another night in that room, just waiting to see what new injuries they'll wake up with, or if they'll even wake up at all. They march straight back to the warden's office. Only this time, they are not the scared kids from that morning. They are furious. They tell him they know everything, and they threaten to expose his negligence to the entire school, to the police, to everyone. And just like that, terrified of losing his job, the warden crumbles. He agrees to move them to a safe room immediately. But as they left the hospital, the senior left them with one final haunting warning, a thought that really captures the true horror of room 55. He leaned in close and said, "If you stay there, you might go to sleep and never wake up.